To weaken Boyka's fighting power, Ito had no choice but to tie him up and whip him repeatedly. Because just yesterday, Boyka kicked down the Japanese army's best officer with a single strike, then knocked the man to the ground with one punch. That terrifying strength sent chills down the officer's spines. The next day, Boyka was brought to the center of the arena again. Given his incredible performance, the Japanese sent out 3 fighters this time. These karate-trained soldiers immediately surrounded Boyka and attacked. But even with 10 men, they still would not be a match for the king of fighters. Boyka's attacks were clean, fast, and brutally effective. With powerful strikes and agile movement, the 3 of them had no chance to fight back. Soon, they were all beaten down, unable to stand again. But Boyka chose to show mercy and did not finish them off. After all, he was still inside the Japanese prison camp. He did not want to make things worse for himself, but he underestimated Ito's cruelty. Boyka knew that if he stayed here any longer, all that awaited him was death. So he called on the others to come up with a plan to escape. He had already noticed a radio on top of the watchtower. If he could get that radio, he could contact their troops. That way, they would most likely get rescued. By the afternoon, when everyone was building fortifications, Boyka quietly hid behind a barrier. Then the prisoners followed the plan and pretended to start a fight. As expected, the commotion drew all the nearby soldiers. Even the guards on the watchtower turned their attention to the scene. Boyka took advantage of the chaos and ran up the tower. He stole the radio from there. When everything finally calmed down and he was about to hide the radio, he suddenly came face to face with the nurse.
Let this be! Arrest!
Not long ago, Boyka was captured by the Japanese army. They knew exactly how dangerous he was in a fight, so they forced him to battle other prisoners for entertainment. Boyka easily took down 3 men in a row, but then he realized the ugly truth. Every loser was executed on the spot. At that moment, Boyka understood. If he stayed here any longer, he'd eventually end up the same way. So he and a few inmates came up with a plan. Late that night, Boyka made it look like he was still asleep. He covered his bed with a blanket to fake his presence, then pried open the weak wooden boards beneath his cell. He crawled out quietly through the small opening, carefully put everything back the way it was, and slipped out of the camp with the stolen radio transmitter. Boyka ran through the jungle as fast as he could, heading toward the coastline. He didn't know how long he'd been running, until finally he reached a hilltop and spotted an American warship far in the distance. He quickly turned on the transmitter and tuned in to their secure channel, but what came through was a language he didn't understand. Still, he recognized the sound. It was the language of Native Americans. Boyka didn't dare stay too long. He had to make it back before sunrise. When the group analyzed what they'd heard, they quickly came to a chilling conclusion. The Americans were using encrypted commands, which meant a major